Hey guys, it's Micah from edeneyetarot. I am here today to talk to you about meditation. This has actually been a question I get a lot from clients, like after readings, about meditation and how to start, how to do it. Because I think in popular media or, just I think meditation is oftentimes portrayed in just one way, which is like sitting in a quiet room, quieting your mind, focusing on your breath, and gently guiding your thoughts back to the present, which is, in all fairness, it's a great way to meditate, but it's not the only way. And I think a lot of people, at least that have come in contact with, don't know that there are other ways to meditate as well that they're probably already doing. And excuse me. And if they are not already doing them, there are things that they probably would really enjoy doing, or, just with a little extra intention and thought behind it. They have meditation and they're, doing something productive for themselves at the same time. So they're multitasking without even thinking about it and doing something great for themselves either way. And so I'm going to talk about that today. But before we kind of get into that, I am back. I don't think I'll have to take another break from making videos anytime soon. Fingers crossed. I started my moving process last week. So I took a break from making videos last week to get started. As you can see, I'm in a different environment. I'm in my new apartment for well, not for right now, but I'm in my new apartment. But I will be continuing that process over the next 2 weeks, moving stuff in. And so yeah, so I am back and let's go ahead and get into this. So we know kind of like, like I was saying, like the popular way that, excuse me, that meditation is kind of portrayed, which is, just kind of like quieting the mind, which is like that mindfulness and that stillness, which is amazing. But that takes a lot of self discipline. It takes a lot of time. Meditation in general does take self discipline, but it doesn't have to be something hard, because I think when we think about that way of meditating, where we're quieting our mind, focusing on breath, and having to be still and create stillness on an external and internal level, that can be a tall order for a lot of people. Not only, just on a level of, sitting in one spot. I have issues with that, just kind of staying still all the time, or like for a long period of time. But also on an internal level, there are a lot of things like, some of us just have to move. And so it's not the best fit for everybody, and that's okay. And so while I think that way of meditating can be very helpful, it helps to focus the mind. It really helps to, to ground you and help you find clarity. Webster's dictionary actually defines meditation as crap. I forgot the actual like the actual definition, so I did write it down. Webster's dictionary defines meditation as to focus one's thoughts, reflect, to reflect or ponder over. It can also be the plan or to plan or project in the mind with some sort of intention. So if we're keeping that in mind from the definition of meditation, then meditation can be a lot of things, right? You're planning something. That is what we're basically getting down to, is meditation is just being able to be focused on one thing at a time. And it is being mindful, but that doesn't mean that you always have to be still, which is something that I always talk to clients about, is active meditation, and that can look like a lot of different things for a lot of people. And so, one thing I would suggest, to kind of narrow down what kind of active meditation would be best for you, would to be ask yourself, why are you meditating? So a couple of different ways that you can, mix up your meditation routine, and you can do multiple, ways of meditating. You can sit down in a quiet room. That is totally cool. But maybe you do that like on Monday, And I would say with that, for those of you that want to do that, you can absolutely work yourself up to, like, an hour or 30 minutes or whatever, or 2 hours of, that kind of meditation. But I would say, you know, a lot of people don't do well just sitting for 30 minutes like that right off the bat. That's something that you build up to, is that long, prolonged meditation. And so it's okay to just kind of start out with breath work, just focusing it on breathing in, breathing out, for maybe 2 minutes. I have a watch that actually has me do this for 6 cycles of breathing in, breathing out. That is meditation. I'm having to focus on the actual breath of breathing in and exhaling. I've had some guided meditations that will actually also have me focus on certain parts of the inhaling, cycle, or and also and also on the exhale. Jesus Christ. But yeah, so you can always work up to that. You can start out with 2 minutes, and then you work your way up to 5 minutes, and then you work up yourself up to 7 minutes and 10 minutes, and so on and so on. And eventually, with practice, because meditation is a practice, you can work up to, like, however long you want to meditate for. But for those of you and those of us, and myself included, that's not something that you're able to accommodate all the time, or it's something that's just not for you, that's okay. My number one way that I suggest meditation can happen is through active meditation, which is through hiking. Hiking enables you not only to get a great workout in, so it creates movement on a physical level, but also on a mental level. You're able to literally walk through issues. You're able to focus your mind on not only the trail in front of you, which helps to focus the literal pathways in your mind on a certain issue, and you're able to come up with clarity, because literally, like, you have the blood pumping through your mind, through your brain, and so you're able to have this clarity and exert energy and get out excess energy and kind of quiet the mind through exercise. And you're literally focusing on a path, which like a physical path, which enables you to focus on a mental path. And so remember, we're talking about, with meditation, it's all about like focus or reflection of some sort that enables you to get some sort of insight or clarity. And so I'd say hiking or exercise, if you want to do like dancing, can be another way that you can find this. But I would definitely suggest like hiking, because it is in nature, and you have to be present to, make sure that you're not in some sort of danger. Ironically enough, I think, me personally, the best exercises that I have that I can get into that meditative state are the most dangerous. I used to do circus arts, and I used to teach circus arts for a long time. And I would be in the zone, meditative zone, all the time with that, because I constantly had to make sure that I wasn't about to die. But also hiking. There are plenty of, dangerous variations, or not variations, dangerous elements, like, out in on a hiking trail. And so you have to be alert, you have to be in the present. But it's also okay for you to, be able to reflect or think about certain things, and notice the environment around you, because that's so important while you're out in nature. And while you're doing that, you're able to soak in the beauty of nature as well, and the colors that you're seeing, and you'll really get into that experience, or like, that or really, appreciate that experience about out and being in nature. That's also how I realized that, violets were just kind of like running wild right in my community. I didn't realize that, but it was because of that presence and that mindfulness that I had to have while I was walking. Violets are amazing medicine, plant medicine, that you don't have to buy. You can find a lot of these things out in nature. But if I didn't go out to walk for meditative purposes, to get out my anxiety and kind of like my excess energy, then I never would have known all of that. And I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but it does serve like a really good example, or not example, but I guess next point of finding out how to meditate can come from a good way of figuring that out can come from what is your purpose of meditating? Are you doing it to work out excess energy? Are you doing it to regulate mood? Are you doing it for a health reason? Um, that all can really help, a lot with, narrowing down what kind of meditation might be best for you. So exercise, walking, if you are someone that is like maybe a morning person or a night person, maybe also timing when you do those kinds of hikes or exercises could also add to the the meditative um, process as well. I'd also say coming up with a routine is its own meditative process as well, because again, you're focusing on one path of thought. You are trying to put things together. You're in the zone, literally. And I think that's like, how I think of meditation is being in the zone. To me, being in the zone doesn't always mean that you're doing this over here and this over here and that over there. It just means that you are zoned in to one thing and, you're really present with that activity. And so just kind of like as a little background into what I mean when I say that and like kind of where I'm coming from for this video. You can also color. Coloring is one of my favorite ways to meditate. It is a little less zoned in and a bit more zoned out, which makes it very different from the exercise way of meditating that I mentioned before. But I think it's beautiful nonetheless because it allows you to let go almost of a lot of control. I think coloring can be really good for people that do almost hold on too tightly to things. Coloring really allows you to surrender. I think of this prayer that um, uh, I would have to recite in school. I went to a Catholic all girls school at one point, and we used to literally have to like recite the Serenity Prayer. And I think it goes something like, uh, Lord, please give me the strength to accept the things that I cannot change and the power to know the difference, or something like that. Something like that. For those of you that know what prayer I'm talking about, please put it down in the comments because I don't remember. I don't remember it. But coloring really brings that same energy in without having to recite that prayer. It helps you to really zone out, to be able to let go of things where maybe exercise makes you feel like you have maybe some sort of control and you're getting um, exercise and you're stirring up energy and focusing it. um Coloring allows you to let go. It allows you to be in a simpler space, almost like a six of cups space, almost in like a Neptunian Mercury place. Neptune is all about, like what isn't super logical, and it's about surrender and connection with the divine, and it's about dreams and astral travel in the astral realm, and all of these like far out kind of like ideals that can't be grasped by human hands. But the Mercury side of it is saying through surrender you come to clarity. Neptune by itself is not clarity. It can be a lot of like mysticism and confusion, things that don't make sense. But but Mercury is logic. It's communication. It is where are we going? And so it's kind of coloring is kind of like a fusion of that, as is journaling. Journaling is also another way that you can meditate as well. Journaling can really help you, create a really great sense of self, and really work through emotions and, come to that more reflective place, not only with situations that you've had, but, kind of, really focus in on yourself rather than a situation as well. Um, it sparks insights, and it really leads you down the path of thought, which is so important, and makes you dig into things piece by piece by piece. It makes you deconstruct things piece by piece, and then finally build up to the clarity. It lets you write out and put all of the thoughts on paper. You're literally just all those chaotic thoughts, you're able to get them out on paper. You're able to, hear them, see them, write them. Um, and I bring that up because I actually have like my own coloring slash like not my own, but like two friends of mine got this for me for my birthday, and I absolutely love it because it's a coloring book and it's a journal. And so I have been coloring and journaling for every season. It's a zodiac or a zodiac color journal. And I've been taking my own liberties and making the characters at the beginning of every season, like coloring outside the lines a bit and making the characters, African American or Black or, however you want to say it. That's appropriate. But yeah, so the beautiful thing about coloring is that you get to come to a more childlike space, a simpler space, and I think that's what makes coloring such an amazing meditative tool. Is because by coming into that more creative Neptunian, mercurial, childlike space, you're able to surrender through play. You're able to surrender through simplicity, and therefore um, find clarity and focus as well. If you think about children, children don't overthink too much. They just do it. And I think coloring and journaling allow you to come back to that space because you can be as expressive with your feelings as you want to be when you're journaling. There is nobody that is judging you. Coloring, you can color outside the lines as much as you want to. It's all just you. And both with coloring and journaling, you're able to really be met, like almost like with a mirror of maybe some fears that you might have about coloring outside the lines, or like, maybe writing about, emotions that you might be ashamed of. You're able to do all of that without any judgment. And that can be very therapeutic, very healing, and therefore create a lot of insights and clarity and focus as well. Last way that I have that you can um, meditate is going to be through visualization and affirmations. And a lot of us do this when we are doing like the very typical meditations where when you're focusing on breath. But I wanted to like kind of pull these two out because they can be done, while you're at work. Visualization, you can literally do like, on the way to the car, or not on the way to the car. I was going to say while you're in the car going to work, but actually, no, that's not the best thing. To stay focused on your drive to work so that you stay safe. But you can literally do this before you get started, working, or before you start your day. Is literally just visualizing how you want your day to go without attaching to maybe things won't go that way, without attaching to some sort of expectation of the day going the way that you're visualizing. But the powerful thing about visualizing is that the more that you visualize, as well as the more that you talk, speak those things into existence through affirmations, the reality usually isn't far behind yeah, on making those things come true for you. The things that you are seeking are also seeking you as well. Which brings me to affirmations. Affirmations, obviously, all of the methods that I've talked about in this video are great for reducing health, or not reducing health, Jesus, reducing stress. um, but and they do amazing things on their own. There are like fun facts, I think, for each, especially like coloring, I think, is my favorite one. Scientifically, coloring actually induces the same meditative state as just meditating, and it helps you actually get better sleep. Again, it's very Neptunian. It helps you get better sleep because it soothes the amygdala, and the amygdala is like kind of like where we get fear and anxiety from. And so, because coloring actually soothes that part of our brain, we're able to get better sleep, and we're just able to come to this like calm, without maybe having to exert a lot of energy. I mean, uh, your hands might cramp. And if you're a perfectionist like I am, sometimes you have to kind of step back and really realize that sometimes the artwork isn't always going to be done in one sitting. So, it's about knowing your boundaries too. But um, all of the ways that I've kind of like talked about that you can meditate today, have their own benefits, and affirmations definitely are no exception to that rule. Affirmations, they can, because you're speaking literal things into existence. Affirmations are very powerful when we're talking about, healing ourselves on a physical level, not just on a self-esteem and internal level, but on a physical level as well, as is journaling. People that journal actually, have been, proven to actually heal faster. Their wounds heal faster. And so you can only imagine like actual affirmations that you're speaking, what they do. Not just for self-esteem, but also for the energy around you. You're literally speaking out, energy that's feeding back into you, because you're speaking it out to the universe, and the universe is sending it back to you. Um, and you are really, speaking out that reflection, that focus to the universe, and the universe that is saying, "I hear you. Here it is." Like, and so affirmations can be amazing. And if you want to step that up, you can find actually on YouTube, there is a channel. Um, I forget the channel name, but essentially it's like, you can listen to affirmations for 8 hours as you sleep, which can be amazing. I listen to those affirmations, like a couple of those videos, at least a couple times a week, to just kind of really put myself in that mind state, while I sleep, and therefore, like, subconsciously it's already there in my mind when I'm awake. And so you don't have to be awake to meditate. You can meditate in your sleep as well. You just have to have the right tools. But with that being said, you guys, that is all for this week. I will be back next Thursday. I don't plan on taking any more breaks, so I will see you next Thursday. If you are interested in having a reading with me, you can go ahead and check the link down in the description. And I will talk to you guys later. Be sure to like and share the video. Bye.